Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Inspire English podcast. I'm your host, Emily.
And I'm David. It is great to be here with you all. Today, we have a topic that makes my stomach rumble just thinking about it. I think I know what you mean, David. Today, we are diving deep into the world of cooking at home. It is a hobby, a necessity, and for some, a true passion. Exactly. You know, Emily, for a long time, I've relied heavily on takeout. I was always ordering pizza or grabbing a burger on my way home from work. But recently, I've been trying to turn over a new leaf.
That is wonderful to hear. Turning over a new leaf is a great idiom to start with. It means to start behaving in a better way. So, David, what sparked this change? Why did you decide to put on the apron?
Well, honestly, it was my wallet. Eating out every night costs an arm and a leg. But also, I wanted to know exactly what was going into my body. When you cook at home, you have total control over the ingredients.
That is the absolute truth. When you cook from scratch, meaning you make something from the very beginning without using pre-prepared mixtures, you can control the salt, the sugar, and the quality of the produce. But tell me, is it difficult for you?
Oh, it is definitely a steep learning curve. I'm not exactly a master chef. Last week, I tried to make a simple pasta dish, and let's just say I bit off more than I could chew.
Another food idiom, to bite off more than you can chew, means to try to do something that is too difficult for you. What happened to the pasta?
I got distracted, and the water boiled over, and the sauce was, well, let's just call it crunchy. It was a disaster.
Oh no! But David, that is part of the process. In the kitchen, we learn through trial and error. Even the best chefs in the world burn things occasionally. The secret is not to get discouraged. You have to roll with the punches. Roll with the punches, meaning to adapt to a difficult situation. I like that. So Emily, you are quite the cook. What is your philosophy in the kitchen? Do you stick to the recipe or do you improvise? That is a fascinating question. When I first started, I followed recipes to the letter. I was terrified of making a mistake. But now, I like to play it by ear.
Play it by ear. That means to decide how to deal with a situation as it develops rather than having a fixed plan. How does that work with cooking?
Well, cooking is sensory. You have to taste as you go. Maybe the recipe says add 1 teaspoon of salt, but your palate tells you it needs a little more. Or maybe you don't have lemons, so you swap them for limes. It's about being creative with what you have in your pantry.
That sounds intimidating, but also very freeing. Speaking of pantries, what are the absolute essentials? If our listeners want to start cooking more, what should they have in their kitchen?
You don't need fancy gadgets. You don't need a machine that slices avocados for you. You really just need a few staples. A sharp chef's knife is a game changer. It makes chopping vegetables so much safer and faster. A sharp knife, got it. And ingredients? For ingredients, keep a stock of good olive oil, garlic, onions, and dried spices. If you have those, you can whip up something delicious in 20 minutes.
Whip up. That's a good phrasal verb. It means to prepare something to eat very quickly.
Exactly. For example, if a friend comes over unexpectedly, I can whip up a spaghetti aglio and olio, which is just garlic and oil pasta, in no time. It is simple, but it hits the spot.
Hits the spot. That means it is exactly what you needed or wanted. You are making me hungry, Emily.
Mission accomplished. But David, beyond the food itself, I think there is something emotional about cooking. Don't you agree?
I do. Even with my crunchy pasta disaster, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I made that. And when I finally cooked a meal that was actually edible and I shared it with my sister, it felt really special.
That is the beauty of it. Cooking is often described as a labor of love. It takes time and effort, but you do it because you care about the people you are feeding. It brings people together around the table. In our busy, digital world, sitting down for a home-cooked meal helps us reconnect. That is a beautiful sentiment. It slows us down. So for our listeners who might be afraid of the kitchen, what is your advice? Start small. Don't try to make a 5-course French dinner on your first try. Pick one dish that you love to eat, maybe a stir fry or a roasted chicken, and practice it until you feel confident. And remember, mise en place. Mise en place. That sounds French. It is. It's a term used in professional kitchens that means everything in its place. Before you turn on the stove, chop your vegetables, measure your spices, and get everything ready. It takes the stress out of cooking. That is brilliant advice. Preparation is key. Absolutely. And don't be afraid to make a mess. A messy kitchen is a sign of a good meal. I'll tell my wife that when she sees the pile of dishes in the sink. Emily said a messy kitchen is a good thing. Well, maybe you should also offer to wash the dishes, David. Fair enough. Well, this has been a very appetizing conversation. I feel inspired to go home and try again. Maybe I'll try something simple tonight. I hope you do. And to our listeners, we hope this conversation has given you some food for thought, something to think about. Whether you are a master chef or a beginner like David, the kitchen is a great place to practice your English while you practice your cooking. Read the recipes in English, watch cooking shows in English, and name the ingredients as you use them. It's a great way to learn vocabulary. That is a great tip. We will see you next time. Bon appetit, everyone. Goodbye.